dear students, welcome to the lecture series on the subject botany. For today, the topic that we have selected is Angiosperm phylogeny group classification. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss first of all the basic concept of APG classification. Secondly, we will describe the principles of Angiosperm phylogeny classification. Thirdly, we will try to give an outline of classification. And lastly, we will highlight the various merits and demerits of this classification. Dear students, we all know classification is a basic human activity. The ability to classify different things is a characteristic that is innate in all of we human beings. For instance, we humans taste food and then classify it as good, bad or inedible. We smell a flower and then classify it as pleasant, offensive or odorless. So, we can say classification is the placement of objects or organisms into groups for their effective organization. In the same sense, the plant classification can be defined as the arrangement of groups of plants into some type of ordered system. Historically, plant classification systems have been largely proposed either by an individual taxonomist or few taxonomists. As a result of this, no single system of plant classification has been followed throughout the world. In fact, from time to time, a large number of classification systems have been proposed by different plant taxonomists. These different systems of classifications were followed in different parts of the world. For example, the angular and printle system of classification, it was mostly followed in continental Europe. The famous Bentham and Hooker system of classification was followed in Britain and also the erstwhile British colonies like India. The taxonomic system of classification was mostly followed in the former USSR, and the Cronquist system of classification was followed in USA. In fact, before the availability of molecular evidences, particularly the DNA-based characters, the classification of angiosperms. Angiosperms are also known as flowering plants, and it is one of the largest group of plants. Their classification was mainly based on their morphology. Morphology means the outward form, preferably flower morphology. However, during the last 3 decades, increasing availability of molecular evidences and then their analysis by phylogenetic methods confirmed several already known evolutionary relationships within the angiosperms. But in many cases, these molecular evidences, they prompted a radical change in the previous classifications. Due to this rapid increase in the availability of molecular evidences that led to many proposed changes, stability of the previous classification systems was altogether lost, which posed problems for all the users of classification systems. Due to these problems, in the late 1990s, an informal group of taxonomists from renowned institutions throughout the world, they came together under the title of Angiosperm phylogeny group, or its abbreviated form, that is APG. The intention of this APG group was that to provide a widely accepted, consensus-based and stable angiosperm classification. The first attempt by this APG group was published in 1998. That system of classification is known as APG first. At present, 2 more versions of this angiosperm phylogeny group have been published. First, in 2003, that's known as APG second, and the latest one in 2009, that's known as APG third. Each of these different versions, they supersede the previous version. As already mentioned, that it was a group of taxonomists, not a single taxonomist, not one or two taxonomists, but a consortium of taxonomists who proposed this angiosperm phylogeny group classification. The 8 taxonomists who are listed as lead authors in this system of classification are: number first, B. Brimmer from Swedish Academy of Sciences, K. Brimmer from Uppsala University, Mark Chase and Michael Fay from Royal Botanical Gardens, Kew, James Reveal from University of Maryland, then Douglas Saltis from University of Florida, Pamela Saltis from Florida Museum of Natural History, and the 8th one, Peter Stevens from the University of Missouri. In addition to these 8 lead authors, 33 taxonomists are listed as contributors to this classification. The APG classification is mainly based on the synthesis of knowledge about the relationships of angiosperms. This knowledge is obtained from morphological to molecular data, and then this data is analyzed by means of phylogenetic methods. The main hypothesis behind the development of APG classification has been that all the previous angiosperm classifications were not based on assembling the monophyletic groups. What are these monophyletic groups? A monophyletic group includes the descendants of a common ancestor. More increasingly, we see the APG classification is becoming popular throughout the world. With a number of major herbaria, they now rearrange their plant collections in order to match the latest APG classification system. Now, the second part of the lecture, that is the principles of APG classification. The main principles that have been proposed for the APG classification are: number first, only the monophyletic groups, for example, order and family. Only the monophyletic groups should be recognized, that is, consisting of all the descendants of a common ancestor. The main reason for the previous classifications to be avoided is that they were not monophyletic. Second principle is the linear system of orders and families should be retained. As we know, in the linear system of classifications, there were many taxonomic ranks, but in this APG system of classification, only the ranks of order and families are retained. As we know, the family is central, is basic unit in the angiosperm taxonomy, and the orders, they are believed to be of huge value both in teaching and in studying family relationships. Therefore, an ordinal classification of families has been proposed as a reference tool of broad utility. The third principle is a broad approach is taken in defining the limits of groups, such as already mentioned, orders and families. Therefore, a limited number of larger orders will be more useful. For example, in the latest version, that is the APG third version of classification, about 60 orders have been recognized. Whenever possible, families with a single genus and orders with a single family should be avoided, but without violating the main rule of monophyly. Fourth principle is, above the level of orders and families, the term clade is used more frequently. Now, they have included one more term, clade. Although some clades have been given formal names, still it is neither possible nor desirable to name all the clades in a phylogenetic tree. However, taxonomists need to agree on names for some informal clades, particularly, as I mentioned, orders and families, because that is very important in the facilitation of communication about plant kingdom. Now, the third part of the lecture, that is an outline of APG classification. This will be dealt in much more detail. A number of informal groups, what they call as clades, have been recognized. In these clades, about 56 orders are distributed in the latest version of APG 3 classifications. These informal clades include: number first, the magnolids; second, monocots; third, commelinids; fourth, eudicots; fifth, core eudicots; sixth, pentapetalae; seventh, pabid, or sometimes called as roseate first. Then the eighth one is nitrogen fixing clade. Ninth one is malvid, or sometimes called as roseate second. 10th one is asterids. 11th, lamid, or sometimes called as asterid first. And the last and 12th is campanulidis, or asterid second. These are the 12 informal clades recognized above the rank of order. Besides these informal clades, as already mentioned, and orders what have been distributed within those informal clades, 4 orders, namely amborales, nymphiales, ostrobeliales, and chloranthales, they have not been placed in some informal clade. That's why they are placed at the start of the classification without any informal clade name. In the APG 3 classification, that is the latest version of this system of classification, a few families, for example, Dasypogonaceae, Onchothecaceae, Boraginaceae, Valiaceae, and many others, they are still unplaced. They have not been placed in some order. Let us now discuss an outline of the orders that have been recognized in this system of classification. We will be here just listing only the name of orders and then some significant families within those orders. The first order that has been recognized in a sequential manner in the APG 3 classification is amborales. It is represented by just one family, that is Amboralaceae. The second one is nymphiales. We have in this nymphiales common example of Nymphaceae, that is the lilies. Then the third one is ostrobeliales. The fourth one is chloranthales. These are the 4 orders which have been placed at the start of the APG classification without grouping into some informal clade. Then we start with the informal clade names, starting with the first one, that is magnolids. Within this informal clade of magnolids, these orders have been recognized. The first one is magnoliales. We have in this order of magnoliales many different families. The common one is Magnoliaceae. We all know about the magnolia that is used as an ornamental flower in our gardens. Then one more order that has been recognized in this informal clade is laurels, followed by cannelales, and one more is piperales. These are the 4 different orders that have been grouped under the informal clade magnolids. Then starts the informal clade, what used to be called as monocots, but here the monocots are in more restricted manner. The orders that have been recognized under these monocots are: number 1, that is Acorales. This is represented by just single family Acoraceae. Then one more order is Ilsmitales. This is a large order wherein we have several families distributed. The significant ones are Ericaceae, Ilsmitaceae, Heterocheritaceae, Botumaceae, Potamogenaceae, Juncaginaceae, or Zosteraceae. One more order is Petrosaviales. Again, it is not a large order, but here we have just single family Petrosaviaceae. And this order is followed by one more order called as Dioscoriales. Common families in this order Dioscoriales are Dioscoraceae. We all know about the Dioscorea, which is a common famous medicinal plant. Then this is followed by an order by the name of Pandanales. Then one more order here is Liliales. This is the common lily order, wherein we have many families, say Colchicaceae, Similicaceae, Liliaceae, or many different families which used to be considered under the order Liliales. This is one again followed by one more order of monocots by the name of Aspergillus. Within this Aspergillus, we have the famous family of Orchidaceae. Then we have few more families like Aspergaceae. After discussing these monocots, we have one more informal clade by the name of Commelinids. Within this Commelinids, it starts with an unplaced family by the name of Dasypogonaceae. This is followed by an order by the name of Ericales, wherein we have a single family called as Ericaceae, also commonly known as palms, just like the coconut tree. Then followed by an order what we call as Poales, the common grasses. Within this order, we have sedges by the name of Cyperaceae, we have rushes by the name of Juncaceae, or we have the common Poaceae, or what we call as Gramineae. This Poales is followed by an order by the name of Communales. Within this, we have Communinaceae, or we have one more aquatic family by the name of Pontideraceae. This Communales order is followed by an order by the name of Zingiberales. Zingiberales, we have the common family of Zingiberaceae or Heliconaceae. These are some common families within the order Zingiberales. This Zingiberales is followed in a sequence by one more order by the name of Ceratophyllales. And again, this is not a big order, wherein we have only a single family, Ceratophyllaceae, the common submerged aquatic plant. This commelinite informal clade is followed by eudicots. Eu here means the true dicots. This is started with an order by the name of Ranunculales, the common Ranunculus buttercup. Within this order, we have families like, as already mentioned, Ranunculaceae, then Papaveraceae, or we have Berberidaceae. This Ranunculales order is followed by one order by the name of Proteales. This Proteales order is mainly restricted in the South Africa. This Proteales is followed by one more order by the name of Trochodendrales, followed by one more order by the name of Boxales. We know about the common boxus, which is used in our gardens as a hedge plant. This eudicots is followed by one more informal clade by the name of core eudicots. Within this core eudicots, we have a single order by the name of Gonirales. This core eudicot is followed by one more informal clade by the name of Pentapetalae. Penta means 5, petalae means the petals. Petals are the individual parts of the corolla. This Pentapetalae informal clade includes the order Delineales, one more Saxifragales. Saxifragales is a large order wherein we have many families included, like Crassulaceae, Saxifragaceae, or Haloragaceae. This Saxifragales is followed by one more order by the name of Vitiales. Vitiales includes just a single family, that is Vitaceae. Vitaceae is the common grapes. This Pentapetalae is followed by one more informal clade, what is called as Fabid or Roset first. Within this Roset first, it is started by the order Zygophyllales, followed by Celestrales. Celestrales, we have the common Unimus. This Celestrales is followed by one more order by the name of Oxalidales. Within Oxalidales, we have the common families like Oxalidaceae, or we have many other families like Iliocarpaceae, which have been included under the order Oxalidales, followed by a large order by the name of Malpighiales. Within this Malpighiales, we have a large group of plants, like we have Violaceae, we have Salicaceae, we have also say this Malpighiaceae, Podostomonaceae, or we have also one Blenophoraceae. These are the various families that have been included under the order Malpighiales. This informal clade is followed by one more specific clade, what is called as nitrogen fixing clade. Within this nitrogen fixing clade, we have the famous Fabales. Within this Fabales, we know about Fabaceae, the legume family. One more family called as Polygalaceae. This Fabales is followed by Rosales, the common Rosaceae, wherein we have apples, pears and many other fruits. Few more families within this Rosales order are Raminaceae, Elyignaceae or Rosaceae itself. This Rosales is followed by an order named as Cucurbitales. Cucurbitales includes the families like Cucurbitaceae, the vegetable crops that we have, or Datiscaceae. This Cucurbitales is followed by one more order called as Phagales. Within this Phagales we have families like Fagaceae or Casuarinaceae. One more informal clade we have is called as Roset second. Within this Roset second, the orders that have been recognized are: number first, Geraniales, the common geraniums. This Geraniales order is followed by Myrtales. Myrtales includes the families like Litheraceae or Myrtaceae. Under the Myrtaceae we have the common eucalyptus. This Myrtales is followed by one more order called as Chrososomatales. This Chrososomatales is followed by one more order called as Picraminales. This Picraminales is a smaller order having just single family, Picraminaceae. This order is followed by one more large order by the name of Sapindales. Within this Sapindales, we have families like Nitriraceae, Sapendaceae, Smarbaceae or the Rutiaceae. Sapindales order is followed by one more order called as Heuritales, followed by one more order called as Malvales, the common Malva, the common Gossypium or the cotton plant that we have. This Malvales is again a large order wherein we have several families included. Malvales order is followed by one more order that is called as Brassicales, the common Brassicaceae, or we have the Caparaceae, Columiaceae. The Brassica we have the common mustard plants. This is followed by a larger order by the name of Berberidopsidales, including the families like Berberidaceae. This order is followed by one more order called as Centellales, wherein we have the families like famous families Centellaceae, where we have the sandalwood, Centella. This is followed by a large order by the name of Caryophyllales. Within this Caryophyllales, a number of families have been included. The common ones are the Caryophyllaceae, Palumbiginaceae, Polygonaceae and many others. One more informal clade is by the name of Asterides. Within the Asterides, these orders have been recognized. Number one, Cornales. Second, Ericales. Again a large order wherein we have many families. This Asterid is followed by one more informal clade by the name of Lamid, or sometimes we call it as Asterid 1. It starts with an unplaced family by the name of Onchothecaceae. Then again an order by the name of Garrigales. Garrigales is followed by one more order, Gentianales. We have here the common Gentianaceae. This is followed by one more order by the name of Lamiales. Lamiales includes the common family Labiatae, the mint family, or the Sucrupularaceae or Plantagenaceae. These are the various families that have been included under the order Lamiales. This Lamiales is followed by one more common order by the name of Solanales, which includes the families like Solanaceae, the potato family, or the Convolvulaceae. This Lamid informal clade is followed by the last clade by the name of Campanulid, or what we call as Asterid second. Within this informal clade, we have the orders like Equifoliales, which is followed by Astrales. Astrales is a large order wherein we have many different families like Campanulaceae or the Astraceae. One more order is by the name of Ascalonales, which is followed by an order Bruniales. This Bruniales is followed by an order by the name of Apiales. Apiales includes the families like Apiaceae, Araliaceae. Apiaceae is also called as carrot family. This is followed by a small order by the name of Paracryphiales, because it includes just a single family by the name of Paracryphiaceae. Then the last order in this Angiosperm phylogeny group is by the name of Dipsacales. We have here in this Dipsacales the families like Caprifoliaceae, Morinaceae, Dipsacaceae or the Valerianaceae. Now, let us have the fourth part of the lecture, that is the merits and demerits of this APG classification. What are the various advantages and disadvantages with this APG classification? Let us first of all discuss the merits. The first merit with this classification is that it is strictly based on the phylogenetic principle of monophyly. As already mentioned, that monophyly means reconstructing the phylogeny on the basis of established monophyletic origin. It is based on the synthesis of information which is derived from multiple sources. The sources can be morphology, anatomy, embryology, palynology, phytochemistry or the modern day molecular biology. That means it takes a synthetic approach. The third merit is that the formal names have been given only to those groups, that is the orders, because orders and only families have been recognized here, where monophyly has been firmly established. One more merit is, we know in order to overcome the problem of paraphyly is not recognized in the APG classification. The traditional separation of angiosperms into monocots and dicots has been discarded in this classification. That is why I listed the various informal clades like magnolids, commelinids, monocots, eudicots, not the traditional monocots and dicots. One more merit is that the various monocot groups have been placed in between primitive dicots and advanced dicots. For example, poales, which is the monocot, they are placed in between magnoliales. Magnoliales are the primitive dicots, and ranunculales. Ranunculales are nowadays considered to be advanced dicots. The cladograms. Cladograms are basically the evolutionary diagrams which are based on whether morphological or molecular data. They are presented for showing the phylogenetic relationships within this classification. Both these phylogenetic relationships can be within a particular group like order or across the various families that are distributed within a particular order. One more merit is the orders such as Amborellales, Nympheriales, Ostrobaliales or Chloranthales, which show many primitive features. They are placed at the start of the APG classification. The number of unplaced and uncertain families has been gradually reduced from APG 1 to APG 3rd classification. In APG first we had 40 unplaced families, in APG 3rd we have just 10 unplaced families. Now let us discuss some demerits in this classification. APG classification is restricted at the taxonomic level of only order and family. We know in previous classification we had the ranks like division, class, order, family, genera, but it is restricted only for order and family. This is one demerit. One more demerit is the classification may seem to be sound in theory, but it has still found few followers in practice. Although majority of the families or genera have been recognized as monophyletic orders, yet there are few unplaced families. Dear students, with this we come to the end of today's lecture on the topic Angiosperm phylogeny group classification. We had a basic understanding about the concept of Angiosperm phylogeny group classification. Then we described the principles of this APG classification, followed by a detailed account of the various orders that have been recognized in this classification, and lastly we tried to highlight the merits and demerits in this system of classification. For today, I will take your leave now. Goodbye.